Now then, Albert, get this sent over to fucking Prime Ones, the land of hope and glory. Get yourself over and read their chats. Fucking hell. Just, that's all I have to say. That's all I have to say. Talk about the most desperate, crying ninnies you have ever seen in your life, who are just obsessed. Just obsessed. Like, and have you seen what he's saying? Ricardo's going, oh, she's normalising Albert, oh, calling her a cunt, oh dear. No, mate, look at him using my own language that I said to him. He was the one normalising. Look at him trying anything he can to try and spread his little butter about that he didn't do that shit. It's everyone else, it ain't him. Not to do with him, he's pointing it out. He's pointing it out to everyone. He's a good member of society with morals like that. He should be the one telling everyone what's right and wrong and who should be calling who what, shouldn't he? Because he's got such a fucking high moral compass. I just can't believe the flip-floppiness of this fucking prick and how he lies through his teeth. And it's just so targeted. It's like this projection lying. So he's like, oh yeah, I've been doing that. I've been called out for that. So I'm just going to hang around like a little woodlouse. And every time a fucking stone gets turned, I'm going to just scrape up what I can and add it to my pile and try and butter it out and make everyone think that it's everyone else doing it and not me. This very specific thing that he's been called out for. He's been the one calling me a cunt, calling Lima a cunt, calling everyone a fucking cunt for however long out of nowhere. Trying to get himself involved again in shit that has nothing to do with him. When you and me were going at it before, he was kissing your ass. And now he's getting all fucking up in his fucking high horse now. I've never come across anything like it in my life. Not someone who will just... How do you go through life to this age? Just lying like that. To that level. Like, as openly and blatantly as that. I mean, yeah, you surround yourself with ninnies like those guys. It's a proper knitting circle over there. But yeah, anyway, to address your points about Sierra, why not? Do you know what I mean? Fucking hell. At least they have been going around fucking trouncing me and doing all this shit, like, or trying to trounce me, you know, being scared. I don't need to have a go at Sierra, do you know what I mean? I think he's just another he's just part of the fixtures and fittings, like everybody else is, do you know what I mean? I've got acceptance, I've got a high level of acceptance for lots and lots of different types of people. I'm not down with any Nazism, and I definitely don't support Genesis, and I don't want anyone who supports Genesis around my channel at all. That's a given. But at the same time, up until now, fucking hell, come on, look at his videos and stuff. Sierra's funny as fuck with his stuff. He's like he's an icon of his own. Like, there's a lot of iconic people around here, and I think it pushes your understanding and acceptance of different types of people, and there are lots of different people, you're one of them, who pushes my boundaries in that way. And so it's like, if I'm going to be like that with one set of people, I'll be like that with all sets of people, do you know what I mean? It's not even taking the piss, I'm just fucking saying. It's a legitimate question. Who's got the most? Who has got the most? Has Sierra got the most with his soap? Or has fucking Diddler got the most with his baby oil? That was my question. You can look back on my videos and see the ones I've done about Sierra. It's just funny. The whole thing's just funny, just like you're funny, just like I'm funny, just like everyone else is. We just do our thing on each other, don't we? I know where I stand with you up to a point, do you know what I mean? Whereas, take Tommy for instance, or Ricardo, the lame fuck, who's always sneaking and sliming about. It's like, literally, you look at them guys and it just looks like a load of fucking slugs on top of each other, just sliming over the top of each other, and you can just see them like going over the other one and under that one, and ugh, absolutely grim as you like. But, you know, they're kettling themselves off and they're all going into their little knot of slugs all in a corner in the thing, and they've got the little Captain N absolutely kissing arse at the moment. He is on overdrive kissing arse. And that's funny as well. So anyway, there's the update. Hopefully it'll ruffle their feathers, because it certainly did, me leaving a couple of comments on your channel. And, I mean, Ricardo and Tommy and that, fucking hell, the fakest losers. The ones who have to shout about how cool they are. really are the biggest losers in the place. And if people knew the reality behind what Tommy is like, after what, you know, the persona he puts about, they just couldn't get their head around it. I don't think they'd ever get their head around it. It's like, for instance, this banning business, right? I know it was buttocks, right? I know it was you, mate, and I left you on there for a reason, because I wanted to see who it was. And it was you, and I couldn't give a shit because I know that's you, and that's why I had you on there. I knew you'd fucking ban people and stuff like that. But what I mean is, that the thing that surprised me about that, and that makes me think, that can't have really been buttocks. Or if it was, were you doing it under your own steam? Not that you'd ever tell me. Just because for those comments to be banned, they were spread out over the course of like a whole day. There was 3 people banned, and that was spread out. Dawson's was really early in the morning because I actually got to see that one. And then the other guys put theirs up. Oh, in fact, I think Red Bull's was really early. And then Dawson's was a bit later on than that. And then it was your Joe later on. And all 3 of them got banned within minutes of being put up. Which means, and that was all spread out. That was spread out over the course of like a good, what are we on? So that was like 5 in the morning, and then there was another one, and then I woke up, and then there was Dawson's, and then there was another one later. So we're talking, there was a good 3 or 4 hours between the first 2, and then there was a good couple of hours, maybe even 3-4 hours between the next one, which means whoever it is scouring my comments and literally going back and stalking my comments. And to be honest, Buttocks, I really am surprised if that's you, because I really didn't think you were online that much, and I didn't think you were the stalking kind, and I don't care, do you know what I mean? But I am surprised. And so it really makes me think, who's the other person who's that obsessed? Who is the other person who's going around deleting comments? Who is the other person who tells people what to do in the privet and gives them their marching orders? Who is that? You know? Who's in the privet with Buttocks quite a lot? And those comments that were banned, apart from Dawson's, were not Tommy friendly. You know what I mean? So I didn't think, 'cause the other person who could be a little bit obsessed, I suppose, could have been Dean. But I just think if I was him, I wouldn't be getting Buttocks to ban comments that were against Tommy. So that's just my thinking on it. I could be completely wrong. And either way, I know now, and that's fine. You got me on that one, Buttocks. That's fair enough. But it's just interesting. It gave me more questions than it did answers, really. Anyway, suffice to say, everyone's been unbanned, and the only mod on there now is your mate Lima. And the reason that I've got suspicions of him pulling the strings from the privet in the way that he does, in the really specific way that he'll be like, he'll set a task to someone. Do you know what I mean? And he's got a way about him that he assumes a position, and you know what he's like, and he will get people to do things for him. I've seen him do it. I have seen him do it with my own eyes. I've had him asking me to do shit before. So we all know who it is who does this shit, who's obsessed enough to do this shit behind the scenes, all this crazy behind the scenes shit. The little old ninnies crying about me being called a cunt all of a sudden. It absolutely beggars belief. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of being called a cunt, but when it comes to people, did you hear that? That's my tweak neighbours. Fucking hell, they're alright. They've been going at it. Is it a full moon or something? They have been going at it. Full Nosferatu mode all fucking day. Fucking hell. Where was I? No, I was saying I don't particularly care to be called a cunt, really. It's not the nicest thing, and not the most friendly of addressing. But the thing is, out of everybody, fucking Albert started it, and I know where I stand with it, which is very, very different, and the standards have dropped so low, and I'm still here. So I have to acknowledge and just accept where I'm at. And since you fuckers Ricardo and Evil and Tommy. Mainly Tommy, because it's all coming from him. He is the sun and the moon and the fucking wind of this, all the way along. You've got your little gasping fucking desperado like Ricardo, who we can use as a tool. You've got Evil, the toxic ex, desperate to move on like he does normally, just keep on walking and leave his destruction like he does in real life. And he can't do it this time, so he's all fucking het up, so you can use him. But the fucking sun and the wind and the fucking moon comes from Tommy, and we know that. And all of them fuckers all hoodwinked me, apart from that fucker Ricardo. Well, to be honest, he tried, but no one fucking takes his shit, do they? I mean, he's just disgusting. So Tommy and Evil and all them lot, fucking Ron, all twisting my melon and conning me into thinking that I could trust them. Like, what's all that about? And then calling me a cunt overnight for no reason, then making friends with me, then calling me a cunt, and bringing in all my fucking family and all that shit. There's a massive difference, guys, between what's going on there with Albert and what's going on with you lot, and the difference is so dark. It's so dark, and if you can't see the difference there, then it just shows how fucked up you are. You all are so fucked up. I feel sorry for you. I really do. Because you aren't going to get very far, are you, now, from this point, carrying on like that? This is you done, innit? This is where you're at. This is it for you. You're just going to be lying failures for the rest of your fucking life. And so these guys who are crying about me being called a cunt now, on a couple of videos of Albert's, standard, absolute standard for this place now, especially, they are the ones who brought down the standards. They are the ones who brought it all down. So it was like, without having any beef or having a reason or pulling pigtails or any of that, just pure toxicity, pure fucking manipulation and pure fear. They spent how many months, day in, day out, building Ricardo's channel on calling me a cunt. And you listen to what they're saying over there, and do you think Evil's like stroking himself off while he's writing that shit? Do you know what I mean? Like, knowing what he's done, knowing what he said, and he's writing that shit. Do you think that might be what's happening there? Or do you think they really delude themselves into that? So they actually just believe it, and they're like, oh yeah, you know, as long as I'm not lying, because I believe it. This is the truth. In my head, I believe it. You know what I mean? They're just fucking that deluded, that divorced away from reality. Mates, 6 fucking months or 8 months or however long it was. In Tommy's case, it's like a year and a fucking half. But when it comes down to the calling of cunts, that was you guys, day in, day out, 8 hours a day, if not more, because you were doing multiple streams just to build fucking channels, just to build Ricardo's channel, because he was too scared to challenge Dean to get his back. So he went and took it out on what he thought was a safe option. Someone who had a toxic ex that could be used, and someone who had the hatred of Tommy who could be used. So he went for the safe option. But my friend, you were the one who brought down the standards of this whole place to fit around you. What a waste of humanity. What good do you bring to the universe, really? Maybe a bit of a laugh every now and again, but really, apart from an education in what not to do and how not to behave, that is literally that is all you are. You've not done anything, have you? What have you done? What have you done with your life that's positive? I'd love to know. Obviously you must have done something, but from where you're at now, well, you're just up in your, they call it shoebox files. Well, what's going on with him? You know, he's literally just sat in there day in, day out, ragging on me at the moment. Who was he ragging on last time he needed anything? Before he had his last fucking collapse where we found him, who was he doing it to that time? Which person we thought was a weak person was he doing it to that time? So you, mate, have single-handedly brought down the standards in this entire place because you are so low grade and your standards are so disgustingly low. And it also just shows you the lessons that you can learn from these situations. Like, I'm still here for my own reasons. I don't have to deal with those guys. I don't have to talk to anyone who calls me a cunt if I don't want to. But you see, I've been here a while and I'm learning stuff. Do you know what I mean? I'm learning about stuff. It's the Troll Dojo, you know, and that's what it is. I've signed up to it, and I've got my own boundaries and my own things. I don't have to listen to anyone else anymore. I'm just literally going under my own steam and under my own judgment of what I think is acceptable at this time under these circumstances. It's all about just suspending your prejudices and your disbeliefs and opening up, broadening your horizons, choosing not to be offended, being accepting, I suppose is the word, of just really genuinely being accepting of lots and lots of very, very different types of people. And it's great to push yourself in that way. It's not easy sometimes, and it's a roller coaster. That is real life, dog, because that is like humanity, and that's learning about stuff that I can take into my real life. Now you guys, what have you chosen to do with it, you toxic bastards? You just go in and in and in on yourselves. You just, you've chosen to hide from reality. And it's not even like you're having a laugh or anything, you're just being vitriolic. You're choosing to harp on this negative shit on someone and pile on shit on someone who doesn't deserve it, and you know it, evil. You know the truth there. You know the truth there. You know what you used to say to me in the mornings when you were crying to me about how I was a good person and how you were going to fuck me up. You know. And so you've chosen the narrow path. Every time you ban someone, every time you shut them down, every time you manipulate, you are just narrowing your path. You might be having a little short-term gain from it, possibly for yourself in your own little petty world, but yes, that's what you're choosing to do with this place. That's what you're choosing to do with this experience. You're just shutting down like the old flabby bastards that you are, and you're just going to all die alone, aren't you, in front of your 3-bar electric fires respectively, because that's your attitude. It could have been different if you were a bit more open, a bit less closed-minded, a bit less wrapped up in your own little prison that you made for yourself, and a bit less defensive about trying to be a better person. But I'm happy to be humble. I'm happy to learn new things. I'm happy to admit that I don't know something. I don't have to show off to my cooks like you do. You know what I mean? I ain't got any fucking cooks, and that's because I don't choose to hang around with people like that. Because, well, you end up with my sloppy seconds for that reason. Because there's just no value in that at all. It's just a placebo, a thing to a soothing situation. I'm not here to soothe myself. I'm here to learn. I'm here to challenge myself. And that's why I can take you guys on. When you're talking about normalising calling people cunts, when you're on Prime One's channel, a guy who came in under the umbrella of all of the friction that was going on, and basically glory hold you guys to slag off a person he has never met in his life in the most vitriolic way, day in, day out, and made his mark on that, on you calling me a cunt. He made his channel on you calling me a cunt and your desperate need to find somewhere and someone who's accepting of doing it. And he was the normalising one. He helped bring down standards just for his own benefit. I mean, fuck it, whatever. He's just a stranger coming in. What does he care? He don't matter. It don't matter to him. That's fair enough. I don't have any fucking expectations of some strangers coming in, especially in this place. But you fucking fannies are sat there crying about fucking Albert calling me a cunt. Are you fucking for real? And another thing, one last thing, you scared little pussies. Look at you flapping. I don't have to do anything, do I? I just have to literally go in and make one thing, and look at you all crying and lying. Absolutely desperately flapping. My word, you guys are just pathetic. And you are, look at your projection. Look at fucking Ricardo. Oh, she's censoring everybody who says anything. Look back at my stream yesterday where you were trying to make it all about you. You sad, pathetic, ambulance chasing, irrelevant, ropey old bastard. I was having a complete conversation with you, and what did you do? As soon as I made one comment, when you've been talking about me for fucking hours. Oh, you'd ban me. There you go. Well, that just says it all, doesn't it? You keep on in your echo chamber, talking to each other about how terrible I am, so you can lick evil's arse, Ron. And you know that's what it is. You've turned and I can tell you are cornered. And mate, Ron, look at what happened. You are now sat on by Tommy Uyamiko, the great Carla Acosta. Yeah, look at that. And he will be laughing his ass off at that, because you know what sort of person he is. And all of this, you're just a little achievement that was along the way, a little side quest, mate. Talking about cooking to people. You were his fucking nemesis for how long? And now you just kiss his arse and swallow his lies, bolster them, go around and fan them and do anything he asks you to do. So what was all that about when you were Carla then? Talk about a fucking split personality, mate. And you're having about me cooking to people. My God, you guys, again, with the projection, and what I would call it is having an open mind to everyone, because as soon as you guys did what you did, it blast, as I said at the time, and I've stayed congruent to what I said at the time, which is, as soon as you did that, you blasted it open, and it meant that all bets were off and everyone was fair game. Everyone was open again. I wasn't getting sides put on me anymore by you guys. You guys weren't able to tell me who I was and wasn't allowed to talk to anymore. And look at how you're fucking crying about it now in your little silent glory hole where you ban everyone and it's just you. And no spam, no, where we can talk about games. Where you can talk about games. Look at that fucking chat. And look at fucking Tyler's messages. Look at his. And how he's trying so fucking under the radar to spin his yarns. He is absolutely, if you saw the fucking Discord messages he'd sent me, and then he's there going, oh, you put up with her shit for so long, you guys. You should have seen one. I'm not going to put them out there because I'm not as bad as you guys, but my God, the fucking hypocrisy. And I'm just glad that I got to see the truth of it. I get to see everything. Because all you guys are always sucking up my arse or kicking my arse or doing something to my arse. So I get to see everything, mate. And I get to really sit and look at you all from this perspective. And from my perspective, those guys who out and out call me a cunt and have a bit of a to and fro and we can have a debate are far more integral, surprisingly, than you guys. The lying fucks who lie to themselves, who dance around crying over and over and over in the chat about one person. You don't see that at the PSG. You don't see them just going on and on and on about one person. There's a group, there's a number of people that will be doing. And they might go on one person for a bit or whatever. Or if they come into the chat, then yeah. But that's so much more normal than what you guys are doing, you dark, toxic bastards.